January 9, 2025. A wildfire tears through the hills of Los Angeles with the fury of 1,000 suns. Flames leap from ridge to ridge, devouring everything in their path. Mansions that once symbolized the pinnacle of American dream collapse into smoldering ruins. Sirens wail in the distance, a mournful soundtrack to destruction. And in the epicenter of this inferno stands one house that means more than brick and mortar. This is not merely a property burning to the ground. This is the physical manifestation of a life's work, a love story, and an empire reduced to glowing embers. This is Laeticia Hallyday watching her world turn to ash for the second time. The woman who once commanded private jets like others hail taxis, who divided her existence between the sun-drenched boulevards of Los Angeles and the crystalline waters of Saint-Barthélemy, now stands in borrowed clothes, barefoot on scorched earth. Her Dior gowns are memories. Her Pacific Palisades fortress is gone. But mark these words, this fire does not consume her. It forges her anew. Stay with me through this extraordinary tale of opulence, betrayal, loss, and ultimately, resurrection. What you are about to discover is not just the story of a rock star's widow. It is the chronicle of a woman who fell from the highest echelons of French society only to claw her way back with nothing but grace, determination, and an unbreakable spirit. Let us begin at the zenith, when the world was hers to command. Picture the year 2015. The golden hour bathes the Pacific Palisades in a light that seems almost divine. Laeticia Hallyday glides through her €14 million villa like a queen in her palace. The glass walls reflect an ocean that stretches to infinity. Every surface, every detail, every breath of air in this home speaks of curated perfection. She does not merely wear luxury. She embodies it with an effortless elegance that makes millionaires feel inadequate. While lesser mortals chase fleeting trends in denim and fast fashion, Laeticia drapes herself in Dior couture as naturally as others don pajamas. Her wardrobe is not a collection of clothes but a museum of silk, cashmere, and whispered secrets from Paris fashion houses. Her life exists in two perfect halves. Los Angeles, where the sun never sets on glamour and possibility. Saint-Barthélemy, where the world forgets your name and time loses all meaning. Between these paradises, she travels not by commercial flights but by private jet, her daughters Jade and Joy strapped safely beside her, champagne chilling in crystal flutes. The garage of their Pacific Palisades home is less a parking space and more a shrine to Johnny Halliday's obsessions. A Maserati Gran Turismo sits gleaming, its engine note capable of matching the timbre of Johnny's legendary voice. A fleet of Harley-Davidson motorcycles lines up like soldiers, each with chrome that tells a story of midnight rides along the Pacific Coast Highway. A 1963 Chevrolet Corvette Stingray, the same year Johnny first conquered France with his rock and roll revolution, occupies pride of place. The villa itself, purchased in 2009 for €14 million, has been transformed into a fortress of memory and luxury. A state-of-the-art recording studio where Johnny composed his final masterpieces. A terrace that has witnessed 1,000 sunsets shared with family. A wine cellar stocked with bottles older than their marriage, each one a testament to celebrations past and future. Laeticia does not flaunt this wealth. She curates it with the precision of a museum director. Every detail matters. The Isabelle Marant boots that hug her calves like a second skin. The Van Cleef & Arpels bracelet Johnny fastened around her wrist on their 10th anniversary, its diamonds catching light like captured stars. Even the linen sheets on their bed are chosen not for thread count but for the way they feel against skin at 3 a.m. when the world is quiet. This is discreet opulence at its finest. The kind of luxury that does not need to announce itself because it simply is. The kind that makes paparazzi photos look staged even when they're candid. The kind that had France whispering her name with a mixture of envy and admiration. But empires built on the foundation of rock and roll are inherently unstable. They rise on the wings of passion and excess, and they can fall just as spectacularly. The higher the ascent, the more devastating the potential crash. And for Laeticia Hallyday, that crash would come not with a bang but with a death that shook an entire nation. December 5, 2017. The Marnes-la-Coquette mansion known as Savannah falls silent in a way it never has before. Johnny Hallyday, the French Elvis, the voice of generations, the man who sold over 110 million records, takes his final breath surrounded by his family. France comes to a standstill. Black armbands appear on statues. Radio stations play nothing but his music for days. The nation mourns as one. But mourning would soon give way to something far more vicious. 3 months after Johnny's death, a document surfaces that would ignite one of the most sensational inheritance battles in modern French history. A California will, signed in 2014, leaves every single asset, every euro, every guitar, every right to Johnny's name and image, to Laeticia and their adopted daughters Jade and Joy. Johnny's biological children from previous relationships, Laura Smet and David Hallyday, are mentioned nowhere. They are, in legal terms, disinherited. France erupts in outrage. Tabloid headlines scream in bold capital letters, "Le Testament, discord." Paris Match devotes entire issues to what it dubs a Shakespearean tragedy set to the rhythm of rock and roll. Social media divides into camps. Team Laura and David versus Team Laeticia. Every family dinner, every childhood memory, every perceived slight becomes ammunition in a very public battle. Laura and David take their fight to a Paris courtroom. Their argument is simple but powerful. French inheritance law is sacrosanct. It forbids the complete disinheritance of biological children, regardless of what California law might allow. For 4 long years, lawyers duel across 2 continents. Paris hearings alternate with Los Angeles depositions. Every court appearance becomes front-page news. Every tear shed by Laura is photographed and analyzed. Every statement from Laeticia is dissected for hidden meaning. Meanwhile, the money continues to flow like a river that refuses to acknowledge the drought of family harmony. Johnny's final studio album, Mon Pays, C'est l'Amour, releases posthumously and shatters records. It sells 1.5 million physical copies in mere weeks, an achievement unheard of in the streaming era. The album generates 12 million euros in revenue almost overnight. Reissues of classic albums fly off shelves. Documentaries about Johnny's life draw massive television audiences. Tribute concerts sell out stadiums. The Hallyday brand becomes a perpetual money-making machine. In 2018 alone, Laeticia receives 4.4 million euros in royalties from Warner Music France, Universal Music Group, and Sony Music. Streaming platforms like Spotify, Deezer, and Apple Music introduced Johnny's catalog to entirely new generations of listeners. Annual streaming revenue stabilizes between 3 and 4 million euros. Merchandising, t-shirts, posters, limited edition vinyl, adds hundreds of thousands more. Every year on the anniversary of his death, sales spike again as fans pay tribute through their wallets. But every euro earned is immediately frozen in legal limbo. 2 separate trusts manage Johnny's assets, one in France, one in California. 2 different tax systems demand their share. 2 angry heirs contest every transaction. Laeticia does not inherit a fortune so much as she inherits a battlefield where money is both weapon and wound. She assembles an army of professionals, accountants who speak in spreadsheets, lawyers who quote international tax code like poetry, financial mediators who negotiate between jurisdictions. She learns vocabulary she never imagined needing: success oral litigation, cross-border asset transfers, forced heirship provisions, trust decanting. Her days become a blur of transatlantic flights, court appearances, and late-night strategy sessions. The woman who once planned fashion shoots now plans legal maneuvers. Behind the public drama of the inheritance battle lies a darker, more corrosive truth. Johnny Hallyday lived like a rock star in every sense of the phrase. He spent with the abandon of a man who believed tomorrow would always bring another hit record, another sold-out tour, another adoring crowd. Private jets waited on standby for whim travels. Vintage cars appeared in the garage because Johnny saw them and wanted them. Renovations to their various properties cost millions without a second thought. Taxes? Those were for accountants to worry about later. Later has arrived, and the bill is staggering. When all assets are finally tallied, Laeticia inherits approximately 80 million euros in intellectual property, music rights, image rights, merchandising contracts. But she also inherits 30 million euros in tax debt split between French and American authorities. Years of unpaid taxes, penalties, and interest have accumulated like sediment at the bottom of a wine glass. The French tax authorities demand immediate payment and threaten seizure of assets. The IRS launches its own investigations into international money transfers through the California Trust. What appeared from the outside to be a dream inheritance for a rock star's widow reveals itself as a nightmare of bureaucratic warfare. Laeticia's empire is not a treasure chest waiting to be opened. It is a minefield where every step could trigger financial explosion. In 2021, after 4 exhausting years of legal combat, a settlement finally emerges from the smoke. David Hallyday publicly declares his desire for peace and formally renounces further claims. Laura Smet accepts a financial package estimated at 2.5 million euros plus deeply personal mementos. A photograph of Johnny holding his first guitar as a teenager, notebooks filled with handwritten lyrics from his early career, and the iconic leather jacket from the Riccians La Nuit era that defined his bad boy image. The inheritance war ends not with victory but with exhaustion. The family is fractured, perhaps beyond repair. But the financial wounds remain open and bleeding. The French tax authorities, while reducing their original 30 million euro claim, still demand 7.7 million euros in back taxes. Interest continues to accrue. Deadlines loom like storm clouds. Laeticia makes a desperate counteroffer, immediate payment of 1.9 million euros in exchange for partial debt forgiveness. The tax office refuses but does cancel 3 million euros in penalties, citing exceptional personal circumstances, and acknowledging the significant asset sales Laeticia has already made to demonstrate good faith. It is a small mercy in an ocean of obligation. To meet even this reduced demand, Laeticia begins the painful process of dismantling the physical empire she and Johnny built together. Piece by sacred piece, the symbols of their life together are sold to the highest bidder. The Pacific Palisades villa goes first. This is the home where Johnny spent his final months, where family gathered for what would be their last Christmas together, where Laeticia held his hand as cancer claimed victory. The terrace that witnessed 1,000 sunsets now belongs to strangers. The recording studio where Johnny's final songs were born falls silent under new ownership. Sold in 2019 for significantly less than its market value, the transaction feels less like a real estate deal and more like an amputation. Next comes Savannah, the Marnes-la-Coquette mansion that served as the French anchor of their empire. This sprawling estate with its majestic tree-lined driveway, its professional recording studio, its rooms still echoing with Johnny's laughter and guitar riffs, was valued at 35 million euros in its prime. Laeticia had sworn she would never part with it. But odes made in love cannot withstand the relentless pressure of tax authorities. In 2025, Savannah sells for a mere 8 million euros. The financial loss is catastrophic. The emotional devastation is incalculable. The liquidation continues. Johnny's Maserati, the one that growled like his voice on Que je t'aime, disappears into a collector's garage. The fleet of American classic cars, each one a chapter in their transatlantic love story, scatters to new owners. The custom Harley-Davidson motorcycles, some personally modified by Johnny himself, roar away under different riders. Even the guitars, stage-worn, sweat-stained, bearing the scars of decades of rock and roll passion, are sold. Some are bundled into real estate packages to sweeten deals for wealthy buyers seeking a piece of music history. Fans are horrified when listings reveal these sacred objects included as bonus features in property sales. Social media erupts with accusations of sacrilege. She's selling his soul, they cry. Paris Match publishes a poignant profile with the headline, Laeticia n'est pas en train de vendre de souvenirs. Elle quitte du temps. Laeticia is not selling memories. She is buying time. Her personal lifestyle contracts like a dying star. The private jets that once whisked her across oceans now exist only in photographs. Michelin-starred restaurants become rare treats rather than weekly occurrences. Seasonal Dior wardrobes give way to strategic, timeless pieces that can be worn for years. She begins flying economy class, a fact that makes headlines when paparazzi spot her in the regular terminal. She declines invitations to exclusive events, citing budget constraints but also a genuine desire to avoid the performative aspects of wealth. Even family outings with Jade and Joy are scaled back. No more spontaneous weekends in Saint-Tropez. No more shopping sprees on Rodeo Drive. Laeticia explains to her daughters that they are being smart, not poor, instilling in them the difference between wealth and worth. The girls, remarkably poised for their ages, accept the new reality with grace that belies their youth. But the sacrifices, painful as they are, do not stem the financial bleeding. The tax debt continues to grow like a malignant tumor. Royalties remain partially frozen pending final legal resolutions. The California trust faces ongoing scrutiny. Laeticia's accountants warn that without drastic action, bankruptcy looms despite the millions still flowing from Johnny's music. And then comes the event that will test the very limits of human endurance. January 9, 2025. A spark in the dry hills above Los Angeles. Santa Ana winds that turn ember into inferno. A firestorm that devours everything in its path with terrifying speed. Laeticia's new Pacific Palisades home, purchased in 2022 as a symbol of rebirth after years of mourning and legal battles, stands directly in the fire's path. She, Jade, and Joy are evacuated in the dead of night, clutching only what they can carry. From a safe distance, they watch as flames consume the house that was meant to be their fresh start. The destruction is total. Inside those walls were treasures beyond monetary value, unreleased recordings of Johnny's voice captured in private moments, photographs never shown to the public, handwritten lyric sheets that documented his creative process, trophies intended for a planned Halliday Museum exhibition, decades of family photo albums, home videos capturing Jade and Joy's first steps, first words, first Christmases. Even Laeticia's Audi Q7, parked innocently in the garage, melts into twisted metal. She posts a single Instagram message that breaks hearts worldwide. C'est comme perdre un parti de mon âme. Il ne reste que descendres et de souvenirs. It's like losing a part of my soul. Only ashes remain. Ashes and memories. The financial blow is devastating. The house was underinsured, a common problem in California where wildfire insurance premiums have become prohibitively expensive. Reconstruction costs far exceed policy limits. Laeticia files a negligence lawsuit against the city, claiming inadequate fire prevention measures, but the case drags on with no immediate relief. The emotional toll is incalculable. A close friend confides to Gala magazine. She's quieter now. More introspective. She lost her past twice, first when Johnny died, then when the house burned to the ground. For weeks, Laeticia retreats from public life entirely. No red carpet appearances. No Instagram posts. No statements to the press. Just long, solitary walks on Malibu beaches where the crash of waves provides the only conversation. She processes grief layered upon grief, loss compounded by loss. The woman who once commanded attention now seeks only silence. Eventually, she rents a modest home near Venice Beach. By her previous standards, it is almost Spartan. White walls, linen curtains, an open kitchen that invites rather than impresses. But it is calm. It is safe. It is hers. The girls settle into a new routine. Jade continues her studies at Otis College of Art and Design, focusing on visual communication with specializations in fashion and illustration. Jade, now 20, studies visual communication at Otis College of Art and Design, specializing in fashion and illustration. She collaborates on student capsule collections, her designs echoing her mother's bohemian chic, flowing linens, earth tones, effortless elegance. Joy, 16, attends bilingual high school in Brentwood and curates a vibrant social media feed. Outfit inspiration, beach sunsets, family candids. Poised and protective, she shields Laeticia's privacy while sharing their rebuilt routine. Tesla school runs, Eruhan groceries, movie nights with popcorn and cathartic tears. Yet France pulls Laeticia back. Since late 2024, she spends more time in Charente-Maritime, finding solace on the Atlantic coast through her relationship with Frédéric Suan, a 45-year-old restaurateur who revitalizes historic properties into authentic boutique hotels. They meet in Paris via fashion friends. Dinners evolve into McGee vacations, Provençal family meals, and a symbolic birthday pilgrimage to Johnny's Saint-Barthélemy grave, sacred ground never shared before. A leaked photo of them kneeling hand-in-hand sparks speculation. Has she found peace? They split time between Frédéric's Emin Hotel and his Hôtel de la Plage project. Glass walls, infinity pool, Scandinavian Basque fusion. Laeticia integrates locally, oyster markets in La Rochelle, coastal cycling in straw hats, rose sunsets, telling Le Parisien, Genie face K passer. Insiders say otherwise. She attends branding meetings, shapes aesthetics with her textile expertise, and eyes investments via the Laetitia Marie Smet Trust, once €28 million in assets, now leaner but viable. Hospitality could redefine her as entrepreneur, not widow. Philanthropy endures through La Bonne Étoile, stronger post-pandemic. She visits sites, raises awareness on child welfare. Interviews shift to empowerment. I inherited battles, debts, duty. She discusses grief, motherhood, mental health, resonating with young women. Style evolves. Minimalist earth tones, vintage pieces, Chloé/Isabelle Marant/Dior favorites. In 2024, she models Marant's Étoile campaign, cashmere, suede, coastal simplicity. Saint Barth shopping. Saint Barth tees, Calypso linens, Pipette caftans. Paris, Alaya, Celine, Van Cleef bracelet and Hermès Kelly Constance. Cars sold except a 1981 Mercedes 280 SL in Saint Barth, daily Tesla Model X in California. Royalties secure 2025 plus finances, €1 million annual tax, far exceeded by Johnny's posthumous earnings, top French deceased artist. Publicly, the widow, privately, Jade and Joy her anchor. Social media showcases their paths, Jade sketches, Joy's Coachella dances. Laeticia transforms loss into resilience, jets to bikes, ashes to sunrises, debt to independence. No longer Johnny's shadow, she's mother, partner, philanthropist, survivor, building her empire with grace. Is this a warrior's return or legend's reinvention? Both. The 2025 fire illuminated her steel. Laeticia Hallyday rises, empire hers alone.